Good morning, friends. It's Wednesday, the 5th of March, 2025, and it's time for your news from dinarrecaps.com. Wealthy people have a track record of making significant money moves, opening a world of opportunities. While these strategies may seem out of reach for many, there are core principles the wealthy follow that anyone can adopt to grow their net worth. One key aspect is that they live within their means, often surprising many with their modest lifestyles despite their substantial wealth. They understand the importance of budgeting and often avoid the illusion of wealth that comes from overspending. Additionally, the wealthy focus on securing future income, often through vehicles such as annuities, which allow them to earn interest on a lump sum investment. This foresight helps them maintain long-term stability rather than chasing instant gratification. They also prioritize putting their money to work in various investments. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarrecaps.com. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, announced last week that meme coins will not be classified as securities, a decision that has drawn mixed reactions. SEC Commissioner Caroline Crenshaw dissented, arguing that the new definition lacks a legal foundation. In a related discussion, Elon Musk, during an interview with Joe Rogan, described meme coins as comparable to a casino, cautioning people not to invest too heavily in them. The SEC's guidance characterized meme coins as items purchased for entertainment and social interaction, with their value driven by market demand and speculation, similar to collectibles. In other news, former President Donald Trump has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by rapper Darrell Issa, who cited Trump's efforts toward peace, particularly in the Middle East, and his approach to Ukraine. This nomination follows Trump's controversial meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky, highlighting his push for a non-interventionist stance. Furthermore, Coinbase is demanding the SEC reveal the costs incurred by its aggressive enforcement actions under former chair Gary Gensler, expressing concerns about the impact on innovation and jobs in the crypto industry. The company has submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to gain transparency on the SEC's budget and resources dedicated to cryptocurrency oversight. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarrecaps.com. Thank you, Mark Z, for all your time and encouragement daily. PDK, Mark Z Update. Some highlights by PDK, not verbatim. Mark Z Disclaimer. Please consider everything on this call as my opinion. People who take notes do not catch everything, and it's best to watch the video so that you get everything in context. Be sure to consult a professional for any financial decisions. Members expressed greetings and noted that it is Fat Tuesday and Mardi Gras. They also acknowledged that it has been 164 years since Lincoln's inauguration and anticipated big news today. Mark Z mentioned limited updates from Iraq, stating that representatives from the U.S. Treasury are traveling to Zurich for significant discussions. He has identified several historic bond groups traveling for final contracts today. Despite these activities, no updates have been reported regarding the groups. Members engaged in discussions about the difference between groups and bondholders. Mark provided insights into these entities and stated that the central bank has adopted a secure and reliable international transfer system, which has received international praise. He reported that oil is flowing in the pipeline, pending confirmation from articles. The state of banks has also reportedly improved, with bond personnel traveling for contracts. Members discussed the implications of no auctions in Iraq since the previous Wednesday, with Mark suggesting that it indicates a nearing conclusion to the current financial situation. Concerns were raised over stock market performance, with significant losses reported. The conversation shifted to expectations regarding Trump's speech later in the day, with members speculating about potential announcements regarding a new financial system, asset-backed currency, and Nasara. Mark concluded with encouragement for the members and noted they would reconvene for news later in the evening, ahead of the State of the Union address. The content in this podcast is for general and educational purposes only and not intended to provide any professional, financial, or legal advice. Please consider everything discussed in Mark's opinion only. Follow Mark's Twitter, Truth Social. Note from PDK, please listen to the replay for all the details and the entire stream. I do not transcribe political opinions, medical opinions, or many guests on this stream, just RV currency-related topics. Thanks for joining. Have a blessed day. See you all Tuesday through Thursday evenings for news at 7 p.m. EST, unless breaking news happens. From now on, no more nightly podcasts on Mondays and Fridays. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarrecaps.com. Note: all intel should be considered as rumors until we receive official announcements, and rates and dates could change any time until we get to the bank's redemption centers. RV excerpts from the Restored Republic via GCR. Update as of Tuesday, 4th of March 2025. Compiled Tuesday, 4th of March 2025, 12:01 a.m. EST by Judy Byington. Judy disclaimer: please be aware that I can only report the news as I find it. Try to credit articles with their original author, and am not responsible for the content, which may or may not be true. I encourage you to do your own research and make up your own mind as to what is happening in this great war of good against evil. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bowlines. Sail away from the safe harbor. Catch the trade winds in your sails. Explore, dream, discover. Mark Twain, Global Currency Reset. On the 3rd of March 2025. Wolverine, we are on the cusp of getting this released. Tomorrow is a big day when Press Trump has his SO2 or something similar. What we are expecting is big news for him to announce Nasara Gesara, New Republic, and no more fiat, and perhaps the global currency reset. We hear bondholders are getting paid, and this morning another bondholder, I heard, has been paid. I cannot confirm. However, all these people are under NDA, and we pray all these sources are true. Michael Rubin has sources who say it is this week, so I hope those sources are correct. Other sources say Press Trump signed off on the RV a few days ago. These sources do not know one another, but all had the same info. Trigger groups start tomorrow, and it has been heard that tomorrow is notification day. And we are waiting for spendable money and told it is all coming tomorrow. For the first time ever, I have been on calls with paymasters and banks and heard it is all happening this week, and some private sector bondholders are getting paid this week, 100% confirmed. Pentecostal is ready to go, and many leaders in Bogota are waiting to get paid, and when they get paid, that money will be distributed to members. One leader has his group in Panama. There are about 2 to 3 million people in the RV International, but mostly Latin-speaking people. I am in that group as well. That is definitely happening. I am also under NDA on 2 platforms, so I cannot speak of these platforms as they are that close to starting. The NDA, I repeat to you, when you do receive the blessing, make sure you stay quiet and do not go anywhere publicly. If you talk in public, someone will hear it and you may lose your funds. Go straight home and be sure all phones around you are off. Be sure you only speak to family you can trust and friends you can trust. I spoke to people in Brazil in charge of med beds, and they are ready to go. Tier 1, 2, and 3, and some have been paid, and Sky said the med beds were released for those. Wolverine, I am hearing the exact things you are. I have a few contacts, and they are all focusing on tomorrow and Tuesday in the USA. There is pressure to do this overnight. The president of Iraq has gone to a special session in Cairo tomorrow, ahead of President Trump's speech tomorrow. Everyone is on the same page. Also have heard from people who know bond contacts that they were paid out last week and that they have currency exchange apps starting tomorrow. That is the first time I ever heard about currency exchanges. Don't be disappointed if not first thing tomorrow, but all is pushing toward that. All Wolverine's sources are different than mine, and it appears all is coming together. Just 2 hours ago, heard those apps are scheduled at major banks for people who have already cashed in certain bonds, and they are scheduled for currency exchanges. I have heard that the redemption centers will be open for a month to give people more time to exchange in the event they are in the hospital, out of town. Barra, Mark Z has said this, that the redemption centers will open for about 4 weeks. On Monday, 3rd March 2025, U.S. Inc. Corp. allegedly dissolved, ending the fiat monetary system and closing U.S. Inc. government. The privately owned Federal Reserve and IRS will allegedly shut down. Its fiscal year ends, and it's been bankrupt since 2008. No congressional budget approvals, just running on fumes with a fiat dollar. The cabal's BlackRock, the deep state's financial arm, controlling more wealth than entire nations, has already, allegedly, declared bankruptcy. All banks worldwide not Basel III compliant have gold backing to their monies will be, allegedly, closed. The Basel III regulations could alter the real estate market in unprecedented ways. Nisara Jisara begins as countries worldwide, allegedly, activate the gold asset-backed quantum financial system and global currency reset. The BRICS nations will head the greatest wealth transfer in history. 134 nations are, allegedly, ditching the fiat US dollar and moving to gold-backed currencies. Each of these currencies will, allegedly, trade at a 1-to-1 ratio. The new United States of America Republic will start its new fiscal year under a gold-backed U.S. note as part of the global currency reset. On the 3rd of March 2025, breaking, President Trump launches Crypto Strategic Reserve, vows to make U.S. the global leader in cryptocurrency with XRP, Sol, and ADA. AMGnews.com American Media Group, set 1st March 2025. Boom! Confirmed, Trump and Musk Fort Knox Gold, Federal Reserve next. Video AMGnews.com, American Media Group, read full post here. Courtesy of Dinar Guru, militiaman article based on the directives of the Central Bank of Hawaii warn all citizens not to use digital payment tools actively deal with the Forex. Why would you be warning people about trading in digital currencies on the Forex if you weren't going? You wouldn't. There's no reason to even bring it up. IMO, at this point in the monetary reform, they are so close to giving the citizens the new exchange rate, which means we are so close to giving the new exchange rate to the enemy, to Parliament. And that's why Sudani wants all of the systems up and running, and that's why the Secretary of State came and made sure that's being done, so we can detect every stealing that would occur. All of these moves from Sudani are because he's being guided by the United States Treasury and Donald Trump to make sure this time we hit the mark. Those who hold gold win as U.S. revaluation looms large. 3-4-2025, Mario Ineko and Taylor Kenny both admit that the end of the dollar is not an overnight event, but rather a gradual process through which gold reasserts itself as the premier Tier 1 monetary asset. The duo discussed the implications of the U.S. revaluing its gold reserves, what would happen to silver in such a scenario, auditing Fort Knox, and much more. Introduction. Implications of gold revaluation. Will a gold revaluation happen? What happens to silver? Gold leading commodities bull market for asset allocation, 22.6 auditing Fort Knox, 26.26 retail buying of gold and silver, 31.9 collapse of the dollar. And this ends this report. Here's our next report from dinarrecaps.com. A recent analysis explores how Iraq's gold and oil resources could potentially revalue the Iraqi dinar, IQD, to $42 against the US dollar. With proven oil reserves of 145 billion barrels and gold reserves of 162.7 metric tons, experts suggest that if oil prices rise to $100 per barrel and gold reaches $3,000 per ounce, Iraq could back its currency with these tangible assets. The report outlines a strategic approach to stabilize the dinar through asset backing, proposing a redenomination of the currency to eliminate high-denomination notes, similar to Turkey's method in 2005. With a calculated exchange rate, the possibility exists for Iraq to exceed Kuwait's historical peak value of $3.50. However, success hinges on several factors, including stronger reserves, increased oil production, innovative financial tools, and a potential shift away from the US dollar by deepening trade with BRICS nations. The analysis concludes that while the $42 valuation may seem ambitious, it is a plausible outcome given Iraq's substantial resource wealth, contingent on political will and global cooperation. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from dinarrecaps.com. Grayscale pursues 6th altcoin ETF as Nasdaq seeks to list Hedera Fund. Crypto asset manager Grayscale Investments is moving forward with altcoin offerings, filing for approval of a new spot Hedera exchange-traded fund ETF. This filing with the Nasdaq stock market marks Grayscale's 6th altcoin-focused ETF. The SEC has already acknowledged filings for ETFs linked to altcoins, indicating a more favorable environment for such investment products. Grayscale's other ETFs include Polkadot, DOT, XRP, Dogecoin, Cardano A, and Solana, SOL. Meanwhile, Australia's government has no plans to establish a strategic crypto reserve similar to recent announcements from the Trump administration. The Albanese government is focused instead on regulating digital asset platforms, emphasizing the opportunities blockchain and digital assets present for the economy. Speculation exists about a potential future reserve, but current market volatility and political complexities pose challenges. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from DinarRecaps.com. OPEC decides to increase Iraq's share of oil production until the end of this year. On Tuesday, March 4, 2025, the OPEC alliance countries announced an increase in Iraq's oil production share, aiming to reach 4,110,000 barrels per day by year-end. Member countries, including Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and Russia, are set to review global market conditions and expectations moving forward. Iraq's production will incrementally rise by 12,000 barrels in both April and May, with a target of 4.110 million barrels per day by December. The OPEC Plus alliance is currently implementing an official cut of 2 million barrels per day, which is expected to extend through 2026. Additionally, oil prices have fallen to their lowest level in 12 weeks, with Brent crude futures settling at $71.62 per barrel and West Texas Intermediate at $68.37. This decline coincides with OPEC Plus planning a gradual return to voluntary production adjustments. Furthermore, the Finance Committee of the House of Representatives expects the budget tables to reach Parliament by mid-March. Head of the Finance Committee, Atwan Al-Atwani, emphasized the importance of completing job promotions once the schedules are approved and highlighted issues related to state employment under current budget provisions. Lastly, the US dollar has risen against the Iraqi dinar, with the exchange rate reaching 149,250 dinars for every $100 in Baghdad markets. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from DinarRecaps.com. DJ discusses the need to focus on the mechanisms rather than the start dates for the global currency reset, GCR, and revaluation, RV, highlighting the ongoing digital revolution in the financial system. Regulatory frameworks are being updated to facilitate secure adoption of digital currencies, and traditional banks are integrating blockchain technology to enhance operations. The importance of maintaining a percentage of physical currency is emphasized to ensure economic stability and accessibility. DJ also cautions that prematurely diving into a cashless society may lead to exclusions. Furthermore, Dinar Guru noted insights from Frank 26 and Militiaman regarding economic events and gold purchases by Iraq. Recent predictions from the Federal Reserve indicate potential economic turmoil, raising concerns for investors. Lastly, Taylor Kenny explores the implications of gold revaluation amid central bank stockpiling. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from DinarRecaps.com. KTFA held a Tuesday night conference call featuring Frank 26 and his team, including Walking Stick and Eddie from Iraq, along with guests. Frank announced that he will no longer conduct public videos on the Iraqi dinar unless deemed important, prudent, or necessary. The playback number for the call is 605-313-5163 with a PIN of 156996 #. Additionally, Frank shared the meanings of his suit colors for conference calls, such as white for new information, silver for frozen intel, red for high alert, and others indicating various levels of importance. And this ends this report. Here is our next report from DinarRecaps.com. Good evening, Dinar Recaps. BRICS, U.S. to forge trade deal as new nation fears tariff threat. Amid the ongoing tensions with the BRICS group, the U.S. is set to forge a new trade deal as a new nation comes forward with concerns over the growing threat of tariffs. Indeed, since his return to the White House, U.S. President Donald Trump has embraced increased import taxes as an aggressive policy to balance out trade. The efforts have drawn both criticism and concern from the global market. Specifically, a host of nations have expressed worry that the action could lead to a trade war. Now, that fear may be leading geopolitical alignment to take place on a global scale. U.S. to forge new trade agreement as BRICS, Canada, and Mexico face tariffs. The BRICS Economic Alliance and the United States are engaged in a notable face-off, The latter promised to issue 150% tariffs on the collective, citing its de-dollarization as the reason. In response, the bloc's 2025 chairmanship holder, Brazil, has continued to lean into the necessity of ditching the greenback in global trade. Both sides have only encouraged continued concerns regarding geopolitical tensions. Moreover, amid the BRICS confrontation, the U.S. has forged a new trade deal as another nation expresses concern over impending Trump tariff threats. The U.S. president reissued those import taxes on Canada and Mexico after pausing the effort last month. According to a new report, the United States and the UK are set to iron out the details of a new trade agreement. Specifically, a visit from Prime Minister Keir Starmer has seen both sides commit to the new deal. Its purpose looks to be balancing trade and thus avoiding tariffs on the European nation. After the meeting, Trump expressed his hopes for a great trade agreement with the UK. "We're going to have a great trade agreement, one way or another," Starmer said. "We're going to end up with a very good trade agreement for both countries, and we are working on that as we speak." At Newshounds News. Source Watcher Guru. SEC agrees to drop lawsuit against Cumberland DRW, says firm. The SEC sued Cumberland DRW in October, claiming it operated as an unregistered securities dealer in handling more than $2 billion in crypto assets. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission will dismiss its case against the Chicago-based Cumberland DRW, the crypto trading firm says. Today, we signed a joint filing to be made with the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, dismissing its case against Cumberland DRW, Cumberland wrote in a March 4 X post. Cumberland said the filing was agreed in principle between Cumberland DRW and SEC staff on February 20th and is currently awaiting the agency's approval. It's the latest crypto-related lawsuit the SEC has agreed to drop. It has previously dropped cases against crypto exchanges Coinbase and Kraken, along with crypto firm Consensus. The regulator has also recently announced it had dropped its investigation into non-fungible token NFT companies Yuga Labs and OpenSea, and crypto exchanges Gemini and Uniswap Labs. We look forward to continuing our dialogue with the SEC to help shape a future where technological advancements and regulatory clarity go hand in hand, Cumberland added. The SEC sued Cumberland DRW on October 10th, alleging a single charge of operating as an unregistered securities dealer for more than $2 billion in crypto assets. The regulator claimed Cumberland acted as an unregistered dealer since March 2018 by buying and selling crypto it deemed to be securities. The SEC also claimed that 5 of the tokens that Cumberland handled were securities, including POL, SOL, Atom, Algo, and FAIL. The agency was seeking permanent injunctive relief, disgorgement of ill-gotten gains, prejudgment interest, and civil penalties. Cumberland argued it had registered as a dealer-broker in 2019 and was hit with the suit despite engaging in 5 years of good-faith discussions with the SEC, adding it was just the latest target of SEC's enforcement-first approach to stifling innovation. Crypto exchange Coinbase recently filed a request under the Freedom of Information Act (FOIA) to the SEC, seeking to discover how much the SEC spent on enforcement action against crypto firms. At Newshounds News, source Cointelegraph. Thank you, Dinar Recaps, and this ends this report. Here is our next report from DinarRecaps.com. Iraq has set a deadline of July 2025 to end cash payments and digitize payroll, following directives from Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani. The new initiative aims to process salaries for private sector employees through bank accounts, aligning them with the existing system for government employees as part of a broader financial reform plan. Al-Sudani's directives include transitioning all ministries and government institutions to electronic payment methods for all transactions, with comprehensive plans due by December 31, 2024. The full implementation of these electronic payment systems is set to begin by July 1, 2025. This move is expected to modernize Iraq's financial infrastructure, reduce reliance on cash, and enhance financial inclusion. Additionally, financial advisor Mazhar Mohammed Salih has noted that the adoption of electronic payments has contributed to decreased inflation rates and strengthened the Iraqi dinar, while decreasing the size of the parallel US dollar market. Furthermore, Central Bank Governor Ali El-Alak confirmed that 20 Iraqi banks now practice direct transfer operations in multiple foreign currencies, reflecting positive feedback from international financial bodies. And that ends all the news from DinarRecaps.com. We hope this brings value to your day. If so, please like and subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when our reports are uploaded. Thank you for joining us, and have a great Wednesday.